like if Frank Clarhaut kind of
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time you guys have had 3 games in 7 days since the start of the season. What have you learned since that first 7 days and kind of how to prepare and manage? I know it's kind of a crazy stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be challenging, obviously. I think short recoveries with the heat, with the travel, with the type of game it was against San Antonio, it takes a toll on the body. So our full focus is on Vegas on Wednesday, and then we'll prepare to see accordingly for Tampa on Saturday. But it is not an ideal situation, that's for sure.
Brian, when fans think about the biggest rival of this team, they usually look to New Mexico United. From the looks of it, this past Saturday, it was one of the most physical, intense games that I think the Locos have been a part of this season. Is it fair to say that another big rivalry might be forming with San Antonio?
Yeah, I mean that's their MO, right? San Antonio. So I think we saw that with San Diego as well. They had that type of match. We had that match with San Diego as well. That was pretty physical. Yeah, it's a tough game. It's a in-state rival. It was physical. We were able to match the physicality, and it was a hard game. And how they play, they make it difficult. So yeah, it was one of our more intense games of the season so far.
Did your team maybe prove anything new or different to you about like their mettle from getting a draw in a game like that?
No. I mean, I think these guys have proven multiple times to step up in tough situations, whether it's San Diego on the road, Birmingham conceding a goal. I think we've had confidence in the team to step up and deal with physical situations, games like that. I felt pretty at ease on the sideline. I felt pretty confident on the sideline. And after watching the game, I thought we played much better because it was an emotional game. It was a lot of physicality, and then you watch it on video in detail, we did some really good stuff. So it wasn't surprising. It was expectation, but I'm proud of the group that they handled the battle for sure.
For Aaron, I know he's had some good moments for you this year, but to get in the score sheet finally, can that maybe help him open up the floodgates in that regard a little bit?
Yeah, I think he's a guy that goes on confidence and likes. He goes on confidence, and hopefully this is forwards, or if he's playing out wide, if they need to get over that first hump of getting a goal. It was a fantastic run. It was onside. I know people are talking about him being offside. I have the video. You can, if you want it, let me know. Great run from inside the box. Fantastic finish, harder finish than people think, right-footed. So hopefully this is the start for him to start opening up the scoring bank.
Was that a bit of a set play, like something you practiced in training, or was that just kind of Eric seeing what was in front of him and playing ahead?
Well, they were man-man on throughout the whole field, and we wanted to draw them to our goal as much as possible. And if you see in that first goal, we have a pretty good sequence of passes prior. So we drew them in our own half, and it was a delayed run from inside channel in between. Their central backs followed our forwards, and it was wide open centrally. So it was wasn't a set play, but it was part of the match plan and kind of the game model going into this match a bit to manipulate them a bit.
Yeah, to come back from goal down on 2 separate occasions. What does that say about the team, just in their mental mindset to be able to...
They refuse to lose. That's why I think that was the most proud after the game that we said they have a refusal to lose. They handle, these are buzzwords saying adversity, but for me, they're the refusal to lose and know that they're going to come back and not die. Really strong character from this group.
Doing something on Ben Sack, and just talk a little about what he brings back there to the defense.
Yeah, the silent assassin. Doesn't say much, doesn't get all the glory, takes care of the little things. Had a tough job at the end, him and McHugh, against those 2 physical forwards. Yeah, pure professional quality. A big part of why our defense is in this type of shape. Quality player.
With some of the injuries you had, I mean, has it been important for him to step up back there?
Yeah, I mean, again, right? I think he's been a staple in the starting lineup since the beginning. McHugh coming in, I think their partnership has grown, and he's been just a solid performer. We know what we're going to get with him week in and week out from Bensei.
Brian, did the game develop for that San Antonio game? Tactically, did it develop the way you thought it would? and then the adjustments you made, the adjustments you thought they might make, did it just go the way you thought it might?
I mean, we knew what they were about going into the game. We knew what type of game it was going to be. So we expected that type of physicalness. We expected that type of pressure. We expected that type of direct play right away from their forwards. I didn't think it was going to be that man-on-man oriented throughout the whole part of the pitch. When we made the adjustments, we went into a 5-back line, bringing Nicky in, a 5-2-1-2, I would say, and it was a good change. I think it threw them off guard, and we saw an immediate response when we did that on the second goal. So I think it was a good tactical change, but I think tactically, yeah, I mean, against that team, we knew what to expect.
Last question for me, coming in less than 24, a little bit more than 24 hours away from a midweek game against Las Vegas, who on the table isn't very impressive, but like you've said it, there isn't ever any easy games in this league.
No, I mean, this is a team that beat Phoenix on the road 1-0. They're always involved in games. They have a lot of ties. They're another gritty team. They're another gritty team that works hard, a bit blue collar to them. So it's going to be a tough test, and we can't take that for granted. It's a home game, which is good for us, but we're going to have to be on our best to get 3 points.
You're reuniting with one of your former players in Lasso. Other than having a great last name, can you tell us a bit about him? And I hope you got the reference.
Yeah, as far as a good personality, good leader, fantastic in the air. Puts his body on the line. I think he's been reigning 3-time USL Defender of the Year. So a good character guy, good loud voice, and he's a force to be reckoned with in the box. So I have good things to say about Forrest Lazo.
What was your relationship like with him, and will it be nice to kind of reunite with him?
It'll be good to see him. We had a tough year, the year I brought him in, and I'm happy he's doing well. He's a new father, so I think he's in a good place in life, and he's a good person and a good human being and a good leader.
Kind of jumping off Joe's point, would you rather have Vegas first and then Tampa Bay second, or would you, if you could have flipped it? I mean, would you have flipped it, or do you kind of like how it sets up for you this week?
I mean, I don't really care. The schedule is the schedule. What I do care about is if we're going to play a team on Saturday, I would hope that each team plays Wednesday, and that's not the case with Tampa. And I don't know if that's a field type of issue, but I don't care who we play first or who we play at any time. We got to be ready for it.
And then, sorry, last thing for me is just you were talking about the tactics and kind of changing things on the fly, like changing to the 5-1-2-1. Is that stuff you practice, like, on the training pitch, or is that just kind of like a feel, like in the middle of a match where you say, hey, let's just try this and see what happens?
I mean, I'm not shooting at the stars when I do it. We go into the match with a plan A, plan B, plan C. Okay, what if this happens? Okay, what type of formation? If it's not looking good in the first 20 minutes, if we're, what's our plan B? What suits a plan B the best against this opponent? And right now we got this squad in our game model where they can be adaptable as much as possible now. We're at that point, and that's something I talked about in the beginning of the year. So for me, it's not about formations. It's different spacing that we can see, that we can exploit, and that's something that we saw against San Antonio that could cause some problems and get us the second goal. And that doesn't always work that quickly and that effectively, but it's something that we go into discussion about. But the team is super adaptable right now because of the work we've put in these 6 months.
Brian, final question. Just any thoughts ahead of these 2 games ahead?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a challenge, right? We're lucky and happy to be back at home. We've had a three game away trip, so the travel always takes a toll on you. It'll be nice for these guys to get home. I want them to go home and rest. So these guys are working out, lifting weights. I will tell them to go home and rest before the game. But they're going to be challenging games. It's going to be challenging games. We got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to show the resilience that we've done, and we're going to have to put in another shift and replicate the type of energy and type of battle against San Antonio that we showed over the weekend. It's going to have to be that type of intensity in order to be successful and get 3 points against Vegas at home.